Good evening. Thank you for joining us right here on ZTN Prime, channel 294 on DSTV. Newsplus begins right now with me, Wadzanai Sansole, and these are your top stories tonight. President Emmerson Mnangagwa today officiated at the Zimbabwe Staff College's 38th Joint Command and Staff course in Harare. The course, which drew 18 officers from across the African continent, empowers officers with command and staff capabilities. Details on this story coming up on Newsplus. We shall also take a close look at the Grade 7 results, which were released earlier today, showing a slight dip in the national pass rate, but girls and special needs candidates excelled. Authorities have warned against gambling addiction, and that's a growing scourge in the country, which they believe can only be tackled through collaborative efforts. And for your sports, the stage is set for an electrifying Chibuku Super Cup final as Dynamos and Triangle United lock horns at Gibbo Stadium this weekend. Thank you for choosing to watch Newsplus. We now take a closer look at the stories making the headlines. And we start with President Emmerson Mnangagwa, who has reaffirmed government's commitment to closing the national skills gap through targeted training and empowerment initiatives. Now, he was speaking at the graduation ceremony of 74 officers from the Joint Command and Staff course number 38 at the Zimbabwe Staff College in Harare. Ibn Mabunda gives us more.
Now, the Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, President Emmerson Mnangagwa, presided over the graduation of 74 officers from the Zimbabwe Staff College in Zimbabwe's capital, Harare. The Joint Command and Staff Course number 38 brought together officers from the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, the Zimbabwe Republic Police, and the Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Services, each receiving diplomas in defense and security studies. The program, which is an affiliate of the Zimbabwe National Defense University and the University of Zimbabwe, is designed to sharpen strategic thinking and prepare officers for elevated command responsibilities. Students were also drawn from several African nations including Botswana, Kenya, Lesotho, Malawi, Namibia, Nigeria, South Africa, Tanzania, Zambia, and Zimbabwe, the host nation, reflecting the regional importance of the course. Addressing graduates, President Mnangagwa said government remains committed to bridging the national skills gap through training and empowerment initiatives that advance peace, stability, and productivity.
I am therefore confident that the Joint Command and Staff course has molded the participants with the necessary skills to proficiently carry out their constitutional mandate as both commanders and staff.
President emphasized the value of regional cooperation in strengthening collective security, noting the diversity of participating nations.
The Zimbabwe Defense Forces is fostering and cementing relations in the sub-region through the enrollment of students drawn from the various regions of Africa. This wider enrollment pool facilitates the sharing of ideas and experiences, which are critical for silencing the guns on our continent.
Commandant of the Staff College, Brigadier General Joe Muzvidziwa, said the evolving threat landscape demands continuous adaptation as well as innovation.
The Joint Command and Staff course curriculum is tailored to develop the professional knowledge of the selected officers to prepare them for the assumption of increased responsibilities in command and staff.
President Mnangagwa also acknowledged the contribution of development partners including Algeria, which helped source new computer equipment for the college as part of strengthening digital capability. The head of state called for unwavering loyalty and discipline, values he said remain central to the mandate of the Zimbabwe Defence Forces. Class representative Major Privilege Karekera of the ZDF expressed gratitude for the skills acquired during the training program.
Through this course, we were empowered with vital knowledge and leadership competencies to contribute meaningfully to the national and regional security. We stand ready to address modern security threats, including cyber and hybrid warfare.
Regional students were urged to take the lessons learned here back to their home countries as Zimbabwe continues contributing to continental peace and stability. Peace and security remain at the very core of the mandate of the Zimbabwe Defence Forces at home and abroad. Reporting for ZTN Prime, I'm Ibn Mabunda, Josiah Tongogara Barracks in Zimbabwe's capital, Harare.
Now, later in the afternoon, President Mnangagwa met a delegation from Abu Dhabi National Oil Company Trading, a leading diversified energy group wholly owned by the Abu Dhabi government in the United Arab Emirates. The ADNOC delegation paid a courtesy call on the president at State House in Harare, where discussions centered on how to cooperate in the area of energy. And speaking to journalists after the meeting, ADNOC Trading CEO Ahmad bin Talith expressed interest in expanding their refined oil products business in Zimbabwe, focusing on diesel and gasoline.
We already started a few months back and we have a contract to supply, but also we want to thank the President and the ministers for their help with us to ensure that it was a smooth transaction. Our interest is really to strengthen the relationship between UAE and Zimbabwe. So we bring a whole lot of opportunities with us. It's not only oil and gas. There is a lot of companies in UAE that we can look at opportunities for investment with Zimbabwe, and the whole idea is really to strengthen that relationship.
And still on our top stories, the Zimbabwe School Examination Council 2025 Grade 7 results are out, showing a national pass rate of 48.49%, and that's a slight decrease from the 49.01% that was recorded last year. And the results also show that girls outperformed the boys, while learners with special needs also did well. And ZIMSEC board chairperson said all grade 7 results will be ready for collection from schools across the country on the 1st of December. We get more in the following report.
The 2025 Grade 7 results released earlier today are now available online. Candidates and authorized personnel can instantly access the results through the ZIMSEC portal link displayed on your screens. One simply needs to go, click on the results portal, enter the examination number, the examination year, and surname. In an instant, results are on your screen. A total of 395,090 candidates sat for the 2025 Grade 7 examinations, up from 387,429 last year, a 1.94% increase from the previous year. ZIMSEC board chairperson Professor Paul Mapfumo revealed that female candidates outperformed their male counterparts in this year's examinations. Girls achieved an impressive 53.64% pass rate, while boys recorded 43.06%, marking a significant performance gap between the two groups.
Out of the 395,090 candidates who sat for the 2025 Grade 7 examination, 201,842 were female. Of these, 9,930 set for 6 subjects, with 107,241 passing 6 subjects with a grade 6 or better, translating to a percentage pass rate of 53.64%.
The number of special needs candidates sitting for examinations rose sharply in 2025, with 391 learners taking between 1 and 6 subjects, up from 329 last year, a 15.85% increase. Of these, 230 candidates wrote 6 subjects and 101 passed, representing a 43.91% pass rate. This shows a 6.72% improvement from the 37.19% recorded in 2024.
We also note the inclusion of students living with disability who also put up a good show to show that they are not any different in terms of their pass rate with the other candidates. This really allows us to applaud the Minister of Primary and Secondary to get such a pass rate through that inclusion policy. Shows that they are performing well.
All subjects recorded pass rates above 50% in 2025, reflecting a strong overall performance. Indigenous languages led the pack, with Shona scoring an impressive 83.09% pass rate and Ndebele close behind at 83.31%. Pass rates for other subjects were also solid, as outlined below. With grade 7 results now out, a nationwide rush has begun as the anxious parents scramble to secure Form 1 places for their children. Schools across the country can now anticipate overwhelming inquiries as families race against time to lock in placements. For many parents, this moment marks the turning point of their children's academic journey, and the pressure is on to find the right school before places run out. Tavares Buchiwe for ZTN Prime.
Now, in other news, the government has called on gaming and betting companies to establish measures that ensure responsible gaming. And this came out during an annual stakeholders general meeting on lottery and gaming that was held in Harare today. Let's get more in the following report.
Presenting the 2026 budget on Thursday, Finance Minister Mthuli Ncube revealed that the gambling industry is expected to contribute significantly to the fiscus. This is an indication of the continued rise in gambling in the country. While gambling can be pursued for entertainment or financial gain, it can also become problematic, particularly when individuals develop addictive behaviors. When done irresponsible, betting can have harmful effects like mental health and bankruptcy. Authorities have since flagged risky gambling habits as a growing concern and are urging stakeholders to implement measures to address the challenge.
Gambling must never be permitted to generate into a source of social harm. The board operators and civic organizations are therefore urged to strengthen responsible gaming practices as a matter of duty and conscience. This includes establishing a clear safeguards against underage participation, designing mechanisms to prevent addiction and financial distress.
Bookmakers say they have invested in awareness campaigns and programs to encourage responsible gambling. They also have plans to partner counseling centers in an effort to assist patrons who might struggle with gambling addiction.
As an organization, we've lined up quite a number of things that we want to do in terms of responsible gambling. Number one, we want to do an outreach, a nationwide outreach, where we interact with our customers who are currently betting us, non-customers, even of underage. We want to tell them the dangers of betting in this country, in this world.
Authorities also warned against illegal gambling companies and money laundering. Casino Operators Chairman George Nyangodore emphasized that their top priority is preventing money laundering and encourage consumers to engage in gaming rather than gambling.
We are working in collaboration with Financial Intelligence Unit in making sure that there's no money laundering. We don't normally push for gambling, we push for gaming, which is the entertainment side.
As betting operators continue to be popular in the country, it has become clear that what is crucial is for the companies to operate within the confines of the law and encourage responsible betting and gaming. For ZTN Prime, I am Setachisuwe Gwaza in Harare.
Zimbabwe is taking a fresh look at traditional grains. That story right ahead.
Vanoda valisizi itai aye, varimi vese itai aye, vanoda go itai aye, simuza go rako, kurumiza, nokona kungoti oyo, vavalisizi padamoyo, vanyai vana maina na baba, kurumiza, mbeu kwayo riku valisizi. Airo nezvivukuto kana tsikitsi kana zvirwere ende nokupa harvest apa ndiri kurevesa very honest never lisizi itai aye varimi vese itai aye vanoda go.
Mwaka uno tenga mbeu yako ku Valley Seeds usimudze goho rako. Valley Seeds vauchiki vembeu yechibage yepana nePioneer, goros, ma-traditional grains nema-vegetable seeds ose anopa goho repamusoro-soro. Valley Seeds, where farming meets the farmer.
Festive is here, Shah. First Street lights up and suddenly the vibe is back. It stretches from Harare to Hollywood, even to Old Trafford. Jesse Gilles Festive. All I want this festive season? The stories that keep us hooked. The ngoma, the rhythm, the laughter, the drama, the goals, the world-class entertainment that brightens up the holidays for the whole family. All I want is DSTV.
Welcome back. You are still tuned to Newsplus this Friday evening. We absolutely appreciate your company. Let's now take a look at the British ambassador to Zimbabwe, Pete Vowles, and the outgoing UN Women Zimbabwe country representative, Fatou Aminata Low, who today paid a courtesy call on Foreign Affairs and International Trade Minister, Professor Amin Murira, at his offices in Harare. Speaking after the meeting, the British ambassador to Zimbabwe said the meeting centered on enhancing collaboration between the two countries. And he outlined a framework for investment cooperation, opening a channel for British businesses into the Zimbabwean market, whilst ensuring that Zimbabwean companies fully capitalize on the UK's free duty access, enabling minimal cost exports.
We've been working very hard to strengthen our investment cooperation, and that means bringing British companies to Zimbabwe, but also it means bringing Zimbabwean companies to the UK, and particularly making sure that Zimbabwean companies can make the most of our duty-free, quota-free access to British markets, so that they can export at minimum cost and bring back foreign currency to Zimbabwe. So absolutely, we had, you remember the ZITF back in April, where we were showcasing the full range of UK commercial investment offer, and that's something we want to continue to do alongside the wider bilateral cooperation.
Meanwhile, Minister Murira, after meeting the outgoing UN Women Zimbabwe country representative, who was making her farewell courtesy call, thanked the diplomat for the commitment and dedication that she exhibited in improving the status of women as well as girls in Zimbabwe during her tour of duty.
What makes Zimbabwe Zimbabwe is because there's Zambia on the other side, there's Botswana on the other side, there's South Africa on the other side, there's Mozambique on the other side. And there are other countries, about 193, isn't it? And Zimbabwe is one of them, is a geographic entity. But the geographic entity defined by, for it to persist, it has to safeguard itself through its peace and security interests. It has to pursue economic interests as well as its social interests.
Now, the UN Women Executive Board visited Zimbabwe to have a deeper appreciation of UN women's programs and operational activities in support of the government of Zimbabwe under the United Nations Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework.
We've talked about some of the key achievements, including the support we were able to provide together with other UN agencies for the adoption of the National Gender Policy, or the revision of that policy, the adoption of the National Action Plan on 1325, which is the UN Security Council resolution on women, peace and security, We've also talked about something that gives me great pride, which is the launch of the National Women Gender Machinery Coordination Framework. We see this as a sustainability mechanism that we celebrate, and we congratulate Zimbabwe for that great achievement.
And moving on, First Lady Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa brought joy and gratitude once again when she interacted with families and their loved ones who are undergoing recovery from drug and substance abuse at Angel of Hope Rehabilitation Center in Mbare. More in the following report.
It was a joyful moment, filled with deep emotions. Some quietly wept, others cried openly, while many hugged and embraced one another. Families shed tears of joy, with hope all over their faces during this heartwarming reunion. The renewed hope brought relief to parents who had lost hope. The atmosphere was of thanksgiving to First Lady Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, with parents expressing appreciation for the positive changes in their children, thanks to the Center of Hope. In her interaction with parents and guardians, the First Lady emphasized that the purpose of the visit was to acknowledge how those undergoing transformation are coping. She was looking at behavior, eating habits, and maintenance of good hygiene. Dr. Mnangagwa also stated that the visit was also aimed at assessing improvements in behavior, appearance, and overall well-being. For the recovering youths, the moments were a chance to demonstrate how far they've been assisted by Angel of Hope. The survivors confessed and regretted their past mistakes and promised to become good examples of redemption. First Lady allowed parents to ask questions and share their assessment of their children who are undergoing rehabilitation. The parents hailed First Lady for her dedication to change the lives of those affected by drugs. Dr. Mnangagwa took time to exchange notes with parents, listening to their experiences and observations since their children started rehabilitation. After the exchange, she assured the parents that all will undergo some skills training. She also affirmed that everyone leaving the rehabilitation program should lead by example. The fight against drugs is not an individual war. The fight requires a collective struggle, a message reaffirmed by First Lady Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa. Latwo Nyangu for ZN Prime at Angel of Hope Rehabilitation Center in Mbare.
Now, government has said it will strengthen the devolution framework, leveraging on the comparative advantage of each province. The implementation of this will ensure that there is inclusive growth consistent with NDS2, Vision 2030, Agenda 2063, and SDG principles.
Develop district levels. Now that NDS2 has been launched, the next process is the development of provincial economic development plans that must be aligned seamlessly with NDS2, as well as reflecting the different comparative and development advantages of each province. As we deliberate for the next 2.5 days, key issues around this pillar also include the following. 1. Developing a government devolution and decentralization execution framework through the OPC that defines clear and sequenced activities, timelines of MDAs to harmonize and synergize ongoing implementation efforts in government. 2. Enabling the enactment of devolution legislation is provided for under the Constitution, and consider putting in place a strong regulatory instrument on intergovernmental fiscal transfers. And 3. Supporting the devolved financing of the sub-national ecosystem through decentralized fiscal reforms on the allocation and disbursement of devolution funds and stable revenue generation base of local authorities.
Now, the following report is talking about how Matabeleland South Province health officials have expressed concern over the low HIV risk perception among young people, and that's the Gen Z, noting this generation was contributing to the high new HIV incidences in the province. And speaking during a media briefing in Gwanda this Tuesday, National AIDS Council Manager for Matabeleland South, Mgcini Sibanda, expressed concern over the elevated HIV prevalence and incidence in the province, and that's in adolescent girls and women. Now, the province will this year host the World AIDS Day commemorations marked on December 1st.
Matabeleland South Province, the host of the World AIDS Day this year, remains highly burdened with HIV, with a prevalence rate which is higher than the national prevalence. The World AIDS Day commemoration seeks to raise awareness, honor those who died, and highlighting the progress and challenges in prevention and treatment. With this year's commemorations running under the theme Overcoming Disruption, Transforming the AIDS Response, the National AIDS Council believes efforts should focus on reducing low-risk perception as the country moves towards the end AIDS goal. The province has a population of 700,000 with 89,000 people on treatment.
Maybe the adolescents and the children, where we still continue to see, if you look at the number of new infections, we continue to see high numbers of adolescent girls and young women who get infected. Then as a strategy that will attend to that, because in majority of cases they are having sex with older people, men, what we call intergenerational sex, where men, they have power and influence.
The province is pinning its hope on the newly introduced HIV prevention injection, lenacapavir, noting this will be critical in closing new infections in vulnerable key populations. The approval of lenacapavir creates a new opportunity to strengthen national HIV prevention systems, especially at a time Zimbabwe is already using oral pre-exposure prophylaxis to reduce new HIV infections in vulnerable women.
New biomedical intervention of pre-exposure prophylaxis injectable will go a long way in addressing those inequalities and vulnerabilities. Currently, those female sex workers and adolescent girls and young women who are taking the PrEP were taking the pills or the tablets. Again, because of stigma, they will really hide from their sexual partners.
Research has shown that economic challenges and social and cultural practices are some of the factors predisposing girls and women to HIV. At national level, the country has been working to enhance social support for vulnerable women and young girls in a multi-sectoral approach in order to change harmful norms and practices. The province over the years has employed various biomedical and behavioral change interventions to close the tape of new infections. National AIDS Council HIV response coordinator, believes deliberate economic empowerment of women and girls remains key to ensure girls are less vulnerable. Reporting for ZTN, I am Mary Ryan Singo in Rwanda, Imatibelele South.
You're watching Newsplus, and shortly after the break, we'll give you a story on how government is launching a rural social innovation hub.
This is AFCON, my friend. Everything is a competition. Everything.
So here they come for the opening game, and away we are here at the African Cup of Nations.
Join our family meeting from the 21st of December to the 18th of January. Purchase a decoder for $30. AFCON 2025, live on
Harare. Tune into the beat.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, your source for news, business, sports, fashion, and more.
Experience the pulse of Harare's culture and lifestyle.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, Harare's top radio station.
Join the conversation with Zimbabwe's top personalities.
Subscribe now for fresh and infotainment content daily.
Capital 100.4 FM, Harare's heartbeat.
This is Newsplus coming to you live, and we give you the latest updates. Now, moving on with our bulletin, Zimbabwe is taking a fresh look at traditional grains, not just as food, but as a driver of resilience, industrial growth, and cultural identity. And this came out as the second International Traditional Grains Conference opened in Bulawayo today, bringing together government, researchers, farmers, and international partners. Our correspondent Andile Chuma has the details.
The second International Traditional Grains Conference has brought global and local experts to Bulawayo to map how smallholder crops such as sorghum, pearl millet, and finger millet can anchor Zimbabwe's next phase of agricultural transformation. Hosted by Zim Papers in partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture and ICRISAT, the conference is running under the theme Empowering Value Chains Through Innovation, Mechanization, Policy, and Culture. The event focuses on strengthening value chains, promoting innovation, and aligning traditional grains with the National Development Strategy and the forthcoming Zimbabwe National Industrial Development Policy. Officially opening the conference, Agriculture Minister Dr. Anxious Masuga said traditional grains are central to building a climate-proof food system and achieving Vision 2030.
We also, the other mandate is of course nutrition. As we do agriculture, we must have this food systems approach so that we can look at nutrition in a broader concept, and therefore traditional grains become also more important. We also must look at agriculture as a means to uplift people out of poverty towards Vision 2030, livelihoods improvement.
Agriculture remains key to Zimbabwe's economy, with government targeting a $15.8 billion United States dollar agriculture industry by 2030, driven by modernization and rural industrialization. Minister Masuga called for increased mechanization, improved storage solutions, and a shift towards growing crops that match the country's 5 agroecological zones. He also emphasized that traditional grains are not small grains, but climate-smart food essential for nutrition, resilience, and cultural preservation.
But we also need to look at another concept. And this, I think, again, because of traditional grains, the agroecological tailoring of crops and livestock. What is grown by a farmer, what is raised by a farmer, is not determined by what they want. What is raised, what is grown by a farmer, is determined by the exigencies of that agroecological zone. So it must be based on agroecological tailoring. If you are in drier regions, you grow what's suited in those drier regions.
The conference brings together policymakers, researchers, private sector leaders, and development partners from across Africa and Asia. India's ambassador to Zimbabwe, Brahma Kumar, said India stands ready to deepen agricultural cooperation, noting his country's own success in mechanizing and commercializing millet production, a model he believes Zimbabwe can replicate through research partnerships and technology transfer.
And it will be my pleasure if I can be instrumental in further strengthening of bilateral cooperation in agriculture sector and institute a formal mechanism of interactions between our two friendly countries. Zimbabwe's agriculture sector, we have seen in the last year and this year also, it is improving, and with bumper crop and a record-breaking this harvest of grains, and it is going in a very promising way.
Delegates at the conference are examining business models that work, new machinery for post-harvest efficiency, enabling policies and breakthroughs in crop breeding and agronomy. Organizers say the expected outcomes include stronger policies, better market linkages, increased private sector investment, and wider adoption of climate-resilient varieties.
Traditional grains such as sorghum, millet, and other indigenous crops are integral to the diets of many Zimbabweans and play a pivotal role in our agricultural landscape. They offer resilience against shifting climate patterns and provide the nutritional status of our population. However, unlocking their full potential requires a transformative approach across the entire value chain, from production to marketing and consumer acceptance.
Youth and women agripreneurs are also expected to benefit from new mechanization, processing, and entrepreneurship opportunities. With climate change reshaping food systems, the conference is being described as a landmark moment to position traditional grains at the center of food security, economic growth, and cultural identity.
The second annual International Traditional Grains Conference has highlighted the importance of these grains in Zimbabwe. Now the challenge is to bring these grains to every table, to every meal, in every household for better health and better nutrition. For ZTN Prime, I'm Andile Chuma in Bulawayo.
Now, a total of 321 students graduated at the Rua Vocational Training College in Harare, an event that also marked the official launch of an innovation hub, which is set to accelerate Zimbabwe's digital transformation. And officiating at the ceremony, Youth Minister Tinoda Machakairi said the digitalization of vocational institutions is paving the way for a new generation of climate-conscious innovators and entrepreneurs. He reaffirmed government's support towards upgrading infrastructure, investing in modern equipment, and establishing incubation centers that will nurture artisans and strengthen youth-led enterprises.
Skills training is more than an economic tool. It is a source of dignity, identity, and purpose, offering young people a path towards a life of contribution and hope. The Rua and Tunguza Vocational Training Centers stand out as models of excellency in our national training system through the training of enterprise curriculum. They have expanded programs in carpentry, bricklaying, cosmetology, mobile electronics, motor mechanics, hotel and catering, and also clothing. They have woven entrepreneurship and business training into every discipline, integrated ICT into teaching and administration.
And UNICEF country representative Atona Ekole expressed the organization's commitment to partnering with government in bridging the digital divide, highlighting the importance of expanding access to innovation hubs across the country.
This hub is part of the solution. It aligns with the Zimbabwe Digital Skills Development Program launched by His Excellency President Mnangagwa earlier this year. This program aims to reach 1.5 million young people with digital literacy and skills, and UNICEF is proud to contribute to this national target. Together with UN agencies, the private sector, and donors, we are committed to contribute towards scaling the social innovation hub model to all 60 vocational training centers across the country.
Stand by for your business updates. The private sector has begun mapping out how it will contribute to Zimbabwe's next phase of industrial and economic growth with a strong focus on sustainability. This comes as business gathers in Bulawayo to review progress on green initiatives and align their strategies with upcoming national policies.
The Business Council for Sustainable Development Zimbabwe is using its annual meeting in Bulawayo to take stock of how industry has performed on sustainability commitments and to chart new action as the country moves into the next planning cycle. For years, the Council has championed climate-friendly and efficient business practices from waste reduction to energy management across key sectors. This year's discussions place strong emphasis on the National Development Strategy 2 and the Zimbabwe National Industrialization Development Policy 2, two frameworks expected to shape the country's economic direction from 2026.
So as we are aware, the country is now moving into National Development Strategy 2, and also the Ministry of Industry and Commerce is also finalizing the National Industrial Development Strategy 2. So as the private sector, we are also supporting implementation of those two key policies in the country.
As the country now enters a new phase under the National Development Strategy 2 and the Zimbabwe National Industrial Development Policy 2, the private sector is supporting full implementation of those two key policies in the country. Sithole says the industry is not only reviewing what has been achieved in 2024, but is also refining long-term actions that will support both sustainability and industrial competitiveness.
And we are working on developing a green industry strategy supported or with under the auspices of the ministry. We are also working on a program to upscale standards in the private sector. We have also engaged with the Ministry of Public Service, Labour and Social Welfare, and together again with the City of Bulawayo, which is why we are here. And we are finalizing an MOU which we are going to sign here.
Among the major programs underway is the development of a national green industrialization strategy in partnership with the Ministry of Industry and Commerce. The Council is also working on strengthening standards across the private sector to ensure Zimbabwean products meet global expectations. United Nations Industrial Development Organization Country Representative Innocent Madziva said the shift towards Industry 5.0 presents a major opportunity for Zimbabwe to build a more sustainable and competitive industrial sector.
The problem of youth employment of skills here can be solved by human-centric policies, the corporate, the operator training, the AI exercise, with the desired outcome of high-value jobs. The energy deficit really, Industry 5.0 can actually be an opportunity in terms of solar microgrids, energy efficient smart factories.
Bulawayo's Economic Development Officer, Kolisani Moyo, highlighted the role of local councils in creating sustainable industrial environments. He emphasized that municipalities must provide the necessary infrastructure, regulatory support, and incentives to ensure industries operate efficiently while remaining environmentally responsible.
The city is embarking on a number of projects under private-public partnerships, And this is in line with SDG number 17. So it's very important to interact with the private sector.
Zimbabwe's latest inflation figures show a noticeable slowdown in price increases during November 2025. Month-on-month ZIG inflation moved to 0.2% in November from minus 0.4% recorded in October 2025, while annual ZIG inflation dropped sharply to 19% from 32% in October, and that's signaling easing pressures compared to the same period last year. Now, ZIG inflation continued to soften, with the annual rate falling significantly as food and non-alcoholic beverages remained the biggest contributors to price movements. Economist Andrew Magulu shares his insights. We apologize for that technical glitch on that report, but do stand by for entertainment news now.
In a world where music transcends boundaries, where rhythm and melody unite the hearts of people, comes a show that celebrates the power of music like never before. Get ready to dive into a sonic journey that will leave you mesmerized and yearning for more. Welcome to the captivating world of Z Vibes. Vibe to it, baby.
Zimbabwean model Yolanda Chimbarami has made history by finishing first runner-up at Miss International 2025, marking the highest placement ever for the country in the prestigious global pageant. She also earned the title Miss International Africa 2025, distinguishing her as the top African contestant in a competition that brought together 82 participants from across the world. Now, the coveted crown went to Colombia. Chimbarami's historic placement has been hailed as a breakthrough moment for Zimbabwe on the global pageant stage, demonstrating the country's growing competitiveness and influence. Still on entertainment, veteran radio and television personality John Matinde has fondly recalled his interview with Jimmy Cliff, one of the most prominent and beloved proponents of reggae music, who died recently at the age 81. And during the interview in the late 1970s, Matinde, popularly known as John the Boss, experienced the hilarity of language barriers. In an interview with Zim Papers, John the Boss went down memory lane about the day he interviewed Cliff, who spoke with skillful lyricism and the unmistakable tones of Jamaican language, which at the time was never easy for a person used to the so-called standard English. And John said he was nervous when Cliff granted him a rare interview, but it turned out to be such a hilarious interview after all. Now, the National Arts Council of Zimbabwe, NACZ, has announced that the 24th edition of the National Arts Merit Awards, NAMA, will take place on February 28, 2026 in Harare. And in a statement, NACZ Communications Manager Aganya Binde revealed that more than 1,100 submissions have already been received for consideration from artists across all provinces. And he noted that the film category at present leads to submissions, followed closely by music and visual arts. Now, Nyabinde added that the awards committee has also received crucial radio chart data from Power FM, from ZFM, Star FM, Skies Metro FM, and Radio Zimbabwe, which will guide the music category nominations. And the final deadline for NAMA submissions is Monday, December 1st, 2025. Stay tuned to Newsplus for some sport.
Catch exclusive interviews every weekday for candid, exciting, and thought-provoking conversations with your host, Erika Ndoro.
We talk about arts, we can talk about sports, we can even talk about politics, and sometimes we venture into a nice guitaristic play.
The one story where you can't get out of your head. Wakatarisa munhu so Erica like where you are sitting. Nozongokona bata face so pasina munhu.
Wakasiya music yako iyo Afro chakuti ndo music manje no Zimbabwe.
And I'm sure they're still saying the same thing now.
Yeah, so
Shona kana kuti chindevere kana mumwe mutauri muno muZimbabwe ndiwe iwewe ndiwo rupawo rwako ndicho chidadiso chako.
Catch me, Erica Ndoro, right here on ZTN Prime every single Monday at 7 p.m. whilst we get exclusive.
The stage is set for an electrifying Chibuku Super Cup final as Dynamos and Triangle United lock horns at Gibbo Stadium this weekend. Defending champions Dynamos will be aiming to lift the prestigious trophy for a third consecutive year, cementing their dominance in the competition. Interestingly, Triangle United will be led by Genesis Mangombe, who guided Dynamos to glory in the 2023 final against Ngezi Platinum Stars. And Mangombe now has the unique chance to win the Chibuku Super Cup with a different team, a feat that would highlight his growing reputation in local football. Beyond the trophy and financial rewards, both Dynamos and Triangle United view this final as a last shot at redemption, as the Chibuku Super Cup represents their only realistic chance at silverware this year. And still on sport, after a disappointing campaign in which they narrowly escaped relegation towards the end of the season, Caps United has initiated a major rebuild. They have signalled 11 new players as well as a new-look technical team. And the club has raided Ngezi Platinum Stars, bringing in a total of 12 personnel from the side, 7 players and 5 members of the technical team, including head coach Tekshore Chiragwi. The club president Farai Jere has thrown his faith behind Tekshore Chiragwi, as he is confident that they have done all it takes for him to usher in a new era at the club, with the hopes of bringing back the glory days to the Green Machine.
And to be very honest with you, for a club like Cape United, talking of rebuilding, we should be ready to do business year in, year out, getting the best players around and do business for our fans. But that's where it belongs. Rebuilding is for small clubs, my brother, because our fans are not patient. You cannot tell them that we are rebuilding at Cape United. You just have to go for business. It's like saying Real Madrid is rebuilding. My brother, serious business here is what defines Cape United. Any other language, any other semantics, they don't apply. How can you rebuild a team like Cape United? We can't do that. You just have to be serious. It's either you are there or not. Because our people have got expectations. Like what I'm telling you right now, Lloyd is not here because you are sacrificed for the lack of money from the team. We didn't have money. He had to call players. This is how we're recruiting our players. Devolution, can you come? This other player, can you come? You don't do that as Cape United. Go in there, bring the best for the team. Challenge for the owners year in, year out. That's what they are used to, that's what they know.
Now, the Academy of Sports Excellence will host its first schools tournament on 29 November at Munyawiri Primary School in Lomboshava, featuring 8 boys and girls teams from local primary and secondary schools. Founded by Adam Dakwa and Tawanda Karasa, the initiative focuses on developing young African footballers through training, through education and mentorship. The event, which will also offer life skills to children in the Lomboshava community, has received support from former Warriors goalkeeper Bruce Grobler, who donated kits, and former Warriors player Musarika Genitala has also endorsed the initiative.
There is a presence of individuals that have played sport at an international level and national level. It just inspires the kids, first of all, and also it allows the kids to see that they are being supported. They're not only being supported by local people, but also nationally they're being supported. We are using tomorrow's tournament to allow the kids to play high energy matches, but also to teach them about discipline. So tomorrow's event, we start with a workshop which will be run by our partner, which is called Remotes. They will teach the kids about discipline. This is not just about sport, like I've said before. It's about skills and also life that goes beyond the pitch. So we are advocating for individuals that are not only talented, but also that are well-rounded and also imparting good character into the community.
Now, a call has been made to impart the mentality of environmental stewardship to the young blood, for they are the future of tomorrow. And this was the message after 2025 Mashonaland East 25-kilometer walkathon from Wadilove High School to Mahusekwa. More than 100 walkers participated, whilst 7,000 trees were planted along the route in this year's edition. And that was part of a campaign by Friends of the Environment and several other stakeholders.
Today as Mashonaland East, we stand tall and proud to lead the nation in promoting the message of tree planting and conservation. Trees are not just part of our landscape, they are life itself. They provide us with clean air, shade, fruits, medicines, home for our wildlife and hope for generations to come. I call upon every Zimbabwean to rise and play their part in restoring and protecting our forests. Together, let us be the generation that lives behind a greener, healthier Zimbabwe. Allow me to extend our heartfelt appreciation to our corporate partners, Friends of the Environment. Your unwavering dedication in championing the tree planting agenda continues to inspire the nation. Through initiatives such as the famous 500 million trees walkathon, you have walked the talk quite literally for the past 15 years.
Now, the Zimbabwe Olympic Committee handed out 9 Los Angeles 2028 Olympic Solidarity Scholarships, which are designed to support the Zimbabwean athletes projected to qualify for the upcoming Olympic Games. And the 9 athletes are Tapiwa Nashe Makarau, Makanakaishe Charamba, Tendai Zimuto, Vimbai Maishorewa, and Ashley Miller, Athletics, Benjamin Locke, Tennis, Andy Coopers, Triathlon, and Jay Van As, pronounced, and then Paige Van der Westhuizen, who's swimming. Swimming coach Lindsay Tudor Cole is delighted that swimming sensation Ange Van As is amongst the athletes that will benefit from a monthly stipend, which comes from the Olympic Solidarity Fund, starting in September 2025 and continuing until August 2028.
Look, we're really grateful, super grateful to Zimbabwe Olympic Committee. I think this will be life-changing for Anya. She's a young athlete, she's still just finishing school. This is going to be a huge thing for her as she progresses into next year and then trying to qualify for the World Championships in Budapest a year before the Olympic Games, LA 28. She's got opportunity now for everything that needs.
Now, Tudor Cole believes she is destined for the stars as she now focuses on her swimming, having left triathlon 2 years ago, and the scholarship will help her achieve her dreams of representing the country at the Olympics in 2028.
About 2 years ago, she was swimming and triathlon. We had a meeting and we just discussed that she needed to really try to focus on one. She chose swimming and she's literally not stopped. I mean, this year alone, she was African champion. She went to senior world champs in Singapore, junior world champs in Romania. A very big year for her. So if this is what she's done in a short time, and now with the help of the scholarship, I think she's unstoppable. I think first of all, our first focus will be is Budapest 2027. That's the World Championships, to really try and get into that. Then the All Africa Games, and then the lead up from there into.
And that's a wrap on Newsplus. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Wadzanai Sansole. Have a good weekend.